Welcome to Novelbot. This is the audiobook of Rebirth of a Genius. Creator Destroyer Chapter 71 to 80. Sam woke up only after the sun set, and the tournament was over. It was about time the results being announced. First place of the tournament, Sam. This is the first thing he heard when he opened his eyes. He looked around and noticed that the stage is again back to normal, and Principal along with the Count are standing at the center, while there are 9 students standing behind them. Sam dazedly towards the stage and walked towards the Count, who is handing him a plaque along with a spatial ring. "Congratulations, Sam," Count said with a smile. Sam thanked him and went to stand along with the 9 people in the back. The top 10 places are filled with familiar faces. But that is not what surprised him. Instead, he was surprised by the fact that even Shore didn't manage to make it to top 10, even with their overwhelming accumulation of points in the second round. They only managed to get into top 20 with great difficulty. Now the prize for the top 10 people is that they are selected to enter the academy in the Marquee City. They can report to that place in 3 months. This tournament is specially arranged to select these 10 candidates to enter the special class that is being opened in the Marquee Academy, and this is done on the direct orders of the Marquee himself. All the spectators were surprised. The candidates who were at the bottom rankings felt envy. The candidates who missed the ranking by close shave felt jealous, and the noble children were feeling undeserved. In this myriad of feelings and reactions caused by the announcement, Sam is the only person feeling calm and composed. He didn't show any expression at all, because he knew the info from the principal. Then Castor still continued. The remaining 50 people will be taken in as students of the Falcon Cliff Academy, as a special elite class, which we are going to open up from this year, and every year, the principals and the city lords of the subordinate cities will be picking the top 10 special students to join in this elite class. When the remaining candidates heard this, they were immediately delighted. They thought that them coming here is all in vain. Then another announcement came. Now, the best team is Starwood City, as we have seen the number of outstanding candidates they provided, followed by Falcon Cliff City. From this year onwards, the resources of the Starwood Academy will be doubled, and the tax will be reduced from 5% to 3%. When Principal Starwood and Starwood City Lord heard this announcement, they were quite excited. Principal is even thanking Sam in his heart about this achievement. Soon, the ceremony ended. Just as Sam was about to get off the stage along with others, he was stopped by Castor and Count. "Sam, can we borrow some of your time?" Count Falcon was polite when asking. Sam gave his consent and followed them, letting his friends go to the mansion first. They went to a private room inside the academy and sat down as they were served with some refreshments. "Sam, I will be straightforward with you. Did you receive the last key of Nirali's inheritance?" Castor asked as soon as the attendants left. Sam was a bit surprised. He didn't know that Castor would know about inheritance. After all, it is not his fault to think so, as the Tower of Will has never been cleared before. But Sam didn't say anything and just kept his silent with a confused expression. Count Falcon and Castor exchanged a glance and latter said, "Actually, it is not much of a secret. You might already know that there are 3 other keys of inheritance, and right now the other 3 are already owned by someone else. And one of those 3 in with the imperial family of our empire. The remaining 2 are under 2 different organizations. The thing about this inheritance is an open secret in the upper echelons of the empire, and I won't be surprised if some of the noble family heads knew about this." When Sam heard Castor's explanation, he pondered for a moment and asked, "What do you want from me, exactly?" He thought that there is no need for him to pretend, since he can't deny it. The other party is not using force, which means that there is some catch here. Actually, many people tried to clear the Tower of Will, but this became almost impossible, as the difficulty of this is more than that of other 3. The 3 parties who have the ownership of the other 3 keys came to an agreement that the person who can clear the Tower of Will cannot be forced to hand over the key to anyone. They felt that since the Tower of Will is the hardest of all, the person who cleared must be important and might be irreplaceable in the journey. So, they announced to the upper society who has news about this to make sure not to make a move against the candidate who cleared the Tower of Will, or they will be the combined enemy of all 3 of them. So, you don't have to worry that we will harm you. Count Falcon first explained to make Sam calm down, then he continued. "Actually, what we want is a favor from you. According to the prince of the imperial family, who is one of the inheritors, an inheritor can bring 4 people along with him. So, we are wondering if we could use 2 spots." Count Falcon's voice seemed rather hesitant at the end. After all, asking for 2 spots is not a small matter. "What is your offer?" Sam asked without change in expression. But inside his brain was spinning. He didn't know that the thing about an inheritance is such big of an open secret. He didn't even see the point of being careful anymore. If something happens to him, the 3 organizations will make hell to the one who made a move on him. So, Sam directly went to the business. He wants to know exactly how valuable this spot for inheritance can be. Count Falcon and Castor are silent for a bit and gave him a number. 1 million spirit stones. but Sam was not moved by it at all. After all, his earnings were almost this much when he did some business in a subordinate city like Starwood City. Sam stood up and said, "Sir Count and Principal, I actually have quite a good impression on both of you. But I can't agree if you want to treat me as a gullible person. Even though I don't know exactly how valuable a spot is, and the importance of this inheritance, I do know whether the 1,000,000 spear stones is worth it or not. Before you offer me, please check on my background. Earning 1,000,000 is not a big deal for me at all. So, please be more sincere next time, and I will only give you one spot. So, you guys decide what you want to offer, and who wants to take the offer. For now, I will be taking my leave." Sam said and paid his farewells. Sam went to the mansion after that. He took a nice warm sleep that night. Next day early in the morning, the first thing he did was to check on the panthers. When he observed their bodily changes, not only they broke through and became level 2 beasts, there is some changes in its beast core and bloodline. When he closely observed the situation, he realized that the fire poison is trying to merge with the beast core and the bloodline. Sam was both excited and worried at the same time. Because this is a great chance for the panthers to have a qualitative change in the beast core and the bloodline, but he was worried if the constitution of this beast will be able to withstand the evolution in this bloodline. He thought about it for quite some time, and went through the information in blood refinement and evolution technique. So, there's only one way. Sam got an idea. He came out of the mansion and went to the cave where Yanwu and Sky are staying. When he went there, he was surprised to see a number of squirrels at a corner. Watt immediately stood up and greeted him when he entered. Both Yanwu and Sky aren't in the cave. Before Sam could say anything, Watt said, "The shadow mice brought these scrolls from somewhere. Yanwu said they might be useful for you." Sam nodded at his words, and just as he was about to reply, Yanwu and Sky entered the cave. Sky is in a good state now. His feathers are shiny and he is full of vigor. When he saw Sam, the great rock was quite delighted. Sam first embraced Yanwu and then greeted Sky. "Sky, you might know about my contract with Yanwu." Sky nodded at the statement. "Actually, I can evolve your bloodline. If you are willing, I want to make the same contract with you too." Sky nodded in consent without hesitation. Sam was also delighted and said, "I will lay a formation here, which will allow your bloodline to evolve to that of Sky Sovereign Rock. Your bloodline will be of same level as Yanwu's. But from the amount of the bloodline you possess, you might take some time to achieve that. It may take 3 to 5 days." Sam said as he started writing the runes needed. The entire cave is almost filled with the runic drawings, and he took the formation flags to place them at some important nodes. After that he took a huge amount of wind element spirit stones from Watt, and placed them at various nodes in the whole setup. After more than 3 hours of hard work, he was finally done. "Sky, since your case different from the shadow mice who only needed to clear the impurities in bloodline, you only have to absorb the wind elemental energy, and let it go through the flow the formation will direct. The formation will deal with the rest. It will use the wind element energy by condensing it, and will excite the latent potential of your bloodline. Actually, since you have the genes of the Sky Sovereign Rock, you can directly evolve into one, as long as I excite the genes with the wind element energy, which is your bloodline element. I don't need to participate in it directly. So, I hope you will endure and don't put any resistance." When Sam finished his words, Sky didn't reply anything and walked towards the node where he has to stay. Sam activated the formation and turned to Watt. "Do you have any problems with your cultivation?" he asked. Since Watt is his follower now, he has to take care of him. "No problems at all." Watt immediately straightened his back. "You are at 9th stage of initiation. So, your contract time has arrived. Even though I can afford the pills and medicines, you don't have to rely on them to cultivate in the initial stages. They might be useful in latter stages, but if you use them now, you will have to face some backlash. So, you don't have to worry about it." Sam paused and passed the spatial ring he got as prize yesterday. "They have some pills and herbs along with another 100,000 spirit stones. Go to Vickers and exchange everything to wind element stones." He gave his instructions and turned towards the scrolls in the corner. There are almost around 20 scrolls. When Sam picked and about opened a scroll, "Squeak squeak boss, something happened." A shadow mouse came as it shouted. "What happened?" Sam frowned. "Squeak squeak boss, Cully is kidnapped." Sam immediately got serious. Details. Squeak squeak today me 1-357 are in watch duty at the mansion in the cave. The remaining are on scout duty. 1-3 and me are in the mansion, while 5-7 are here. We saw a black figure inside mansion and we followed him. He took Cully and ran. 1 and 3 are following them and I came here to report. They said that they will come and look for you at mansion." After hearing to the details, Sam took scrolls into storage and said to Yanwu to look out for Sky before running out. Even though he wants to fly, he will only attract trouble if he was spotted by city guards. He doesn't have permission after all. After some time, Sam was panting in his mansion. He is inside Kelly's room and all the people in the mansion are already gathered here. There is a circular amulet-like object and a note on the bed. There is another person inside the room. It is Hawk. Sam, somebody kidnapped Kelly. They left a note that you have to contact them through the amulet. Philip said, what is going on? Sam looked at the amulet with confusion. Then Hawk explained. This is a communication amulet. It is a very rare artifact. Not many people in the Falcon Cliff City can own them. Sam took in Hawk's words. He took the note saying what Philip just said and then picked the amulet. He examined it as he sat on the bed. His face was cold and stoic. Freya and Haley are trembling in fear with the thoughts of Cully being kidnapped and were expecting some reaction from Sam. But there is none. But nobody dared to say anything. What are you doing here? Sam asked Hawk. I am here to meet you. But when I arrived and asked for Kelly and you, we found out that she is kidnapped. I already sent news to the city guards. They might have already heard of it by now. Sam didn't reply and played with the amulet in his hands. Then suddenly a shadow flew and landed near Sam's feet. The members in the room were startled as they saw two mice. Speak, Sam said. Squeak squeak boss, they are from a noble family. We don't know which family they are from. But Kelly is trapped in an underground room. She is safe. There's a total of 5 people other than Kelly. I don't know their cultivation levels. But there's a middle-aged man who seemed to be in charge. A girl. 3 guards from the family. When Sam heard this, he closed his eyes and seemed to be in deep thought. But the rest of the people in the room were shocked at his conversation with mice. But they didn't make a sound. After some time Sam opened his eyes and asked Hawk, how do I use this? When Hawk said how to use it, Sam activated without any gap, and they heard a voice from it. Haha, Artisan Sam, took you long enough to reach us. As you know, your female friend is with us. So, if you want her back, you need to give something in return. What do you want? Sam's voice was eerily cold. The members in the room felt like they are standing naked in cold breeze. Number, well, I heard that you have some spots for inheritance. So, out of 4 I need 3 of them. I will send someone for you to sign a blood and soul oath, and then I will send your friend back. Number. When Sam heard this, he closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Hawk was also surprised that someone will use this tactic to gain the spots. Let me talk to her first. Sam replied, and a trembling voice came through the amulet. Sam. Cully's voice was as sweet as always, but it was full of fear and anxiousness. Sam took another breath and said, Kelly, I will tell you something now. Please don't interrupt me. Right now, you are in danger and that too, you are far away from me. I can't guarantee that I will save you. I will tell you some bitter truths. They might hit you, torture you, kill you. Anything can happen. But I want to say something which may hurt you. I am not going to give in to their demands. It is not because that I think your life isn't worth the exchange, but because I think that if I indulge them now, this will only repeat again. I am telling you now. If I can save you from this, I will make it up to you according to your wishes. If I can't save you, I will bear the guilt and atone the sin with the rest of my life. When Sam finished his words, everyone felt their hearts shudder. They felt that Sam is a complete stranger to them. They didn't expect him to take this kind of approach. Only 3 people other than him are completely calm. Philip, Hawk and Jack. Only they understood that what Sam said is right. If it happens once, then it would happen again. This cycle will never stop. Sam, you better think it through. The male voice again came from the amulet. Then they heard Sam speaking. I don't know exactly who you are. But before you spew a bunch of threats, listen to what I have to say. Speak. The thing is, there are 3 things I hate most in my life, and one of them is threatening me, and you did that. Let us put it aside first. You guys are right now in an underground room. There are a total of 5 people other than Kelly. Among those 5 there is a lady. You guys dared to kidnap without regarding the city laws, which means you have someone backing you up. You dare to offend not 1 but 2 artisans at 3rd rank. Cully's uncle and me. That means your backing is quite strong. And there is only 1 person who isn't afraid of the status of a count, and 2 rank 3 artisans. Miss Maya Violet-Dew. The pseudo-rank 4 tailor artisan in the city. The grand elder of the Violet-Dew family. That means you are from Violet-Dew family. You, the voice from the amulet, was about to interrupt him. But Sam cut in. I said listen to me, didn't I? Sam took a breath and paused. He looked at the surprised and shocked faces of those in the room, and turned his attention back to the amulet. There are some possible scenarios which might happen. First one is that you will send Cully to my mansion in 1 hour after our communication is cut, and along with it you will send the heads of the people who abducted her and all the revenue for past 6 months in your textile business. Second scenario is, you will just send her and don't send the remaining things I said. I will go directly to Piranha and place bounty on all the younger generation of your family and every future generation of your family, as compensation for the abduction. Third scenario is an interesting one. You can kill Kelly. Sam paused to see the reaction. As expected. What did you say? The other party sounded quite surprised. Even the people in the room felt their hearts trembling. Then Sam continued. What you heard is right. You can kill her. But within an hour, if she doesn't come to mansion, I will escape from the city. You might not know, but I am only 15 this year, and I believe my talent is great. I will visit the city in a year or two. That will be the day you will see who Sam really is. I will cover whole Violet Dew estate like a dark cloud. You will see the bloodbath you never saw in your life. I will make soil in the estate, the grass sprouted from the soil, plants grown over the grass, the trees towered over their plants, and breeze flew through that tree and the people feeling the breeze. Everything. I will make everything reek of death. That day you will know that. My sight itself will be your destruction. My breath itself is calamity. My call itself shows you the cruelty. My every cell will become a grim reaper out for lives. But there is something special for you guys in the room. I might not know exactly who you are, but I will definitely find out, and trust me, when I am done with you, you will be embracing the death like a boon, and you will take a chance to visit hell, as if you would get a chance to become immortal. You better make your choice. Sam finished his speech and turned off the amulet without waiting for a reply. The members in the room were looking at him as if they were looking at a stranger. The Sam they knew is cold, yes, but they never felt this much fear and threat from him before. Even Jack, Hawk, and Philip, who were calm before, are now trembling. All the people are now drenched in sweat. Girls already fell on the floor as they fainted due to stress. On the other side of the communication amulet, Cully suddenly became unbelievingly calm. She doesn't know why, but after listening to Sam, she felt that these people might not even dare to touch her. She looked at the faces of other 5. They are looking pale as they were drenching in sweat. Particularly, Jessie. She felt her mouth go dry. Even the elder in charge is panicking. He really felt that Sam will do what he said. He stood up immediately but fell on the chair again, as if his legs were jelly. Sam came out of Cully's room and sat in the hall looking at the door. At the Violet Dew family main mansion. The elder who threatened Sam earlier was waiting outside for an audience with the family head, and the pseudo-rank 4 tailor artisan Maya Violet Dew. Both of them were discussing something. When they came to the main hall up on the servants informing them about the elder, they saw an elder with a pale face and shivering legs. He seemed too afraid of something so much. Behind him, a young lady who Sam met previously is standing with same scared expression on her face. She is none other than Jessie Violet Dew. Elder, what happened to you? Why are you in such a hurry to speak to us? The family head asked. Elder looked at the family head and Maya once, and took a deep breath before recounting everything that happened, word by word. He even said Sam's threat as it is without daring to downplay anything at all. Family head and Maya has dark expressions as they heard the whole story. Maya is seemingly more pissed than the family head, and when the latter saw that expression, he got increasingly tensed and threw a slap to the elder's face. Then Maya spoke. Family head, seems like what I said in the previous meeting doesn't reach the brains of the family members. My artisan status is something that I purely got by my hard work, and the Violet Dew family has nothing to do with it. I only came to the family back because I don't want to unfilial and forget my roots. That is why I came to select a disciple from the family. But seems like the family will never change. Your subordinates are even daring enough to threaten a young pseudo-rank 3 artisan, and kidnap the niece of a rank 3 artisan. I don't know that they are this daring. If I don't receive a proper explanation, my disciple will also cut all the ties with the family after she enters my tutelage. After she finished her piece, she left immediately. Family head threw another slap across the elder's face, and kicked the other party continuously. Do you even know what you are doing? You think just because Maya has a last name as Violet Dew, you can use her name as you seem fit. She doesn't owe the family anything, on the contrary, the family owes her everything. We are lucky enough that she is not using her status against our family. What do you think you are doing by threatening a genius like that? And even worse, the other party even knew who is threatening him. Making an enemy out of a genius like that. Then he turned towards Jessie and said coldly, Jessie, as you are part of younger generation, I will not punish you. But let me give you an advice. As long as you keep following your father's methods and keep throwing your weight around, you will hit a hard steel eventually, and this time is only one example. After that he turned back to the elder and said, fulfill all his requests and don't try to play any tricks. You will personally go and hand over all the things he asked and beg for his forgiveness. You are going to invite him to a meal after the banquet at the Count Mansion is over. If you aren't able to make it, you are going to be revoked from your status, and you are going to serve as a shopkeeper. Now get lost. Family held his head as he walked away. He is going to find Maya. He has to coax her to make sure that she doesn't take any hasty decisions in a whim. Sam waited for more than half an hour. He just kept on looking at the door. Nobody in the house dared to sit along with him. They just stood afar from him, also watching the door. Suddenly, there was a knocking sound from the door. Sam opened the door and saw Cully standing there, along with a middle-aged man and Jessie standing behind him. There is a wooden box which has a faint blood scent to it. Kelly immediately leapt into his embrace as soon as she saw him. She sobbed continuously. Sam felt his vest completely soaked and showed no signs of stopping anytime soon. Sam put his hands around her lightly and let her cry in his embrace. He felt guilty upon seeing her face turning red from crying. The elder and Jessie didn't dare to interrupt them. After she calmed down a little, she let go of Sam and stood by the side. Sam finally took a look at the elder and sized him up. The elder is a late-stage novice. When he looked at Jessie, his impression of her worsened a lot. The elder first opened the box and found 3 heads in it, and he passed a spatial ring to Sam. Sir, Sam. I am the one responsible for everything happened today, and I realize my mistake. I hope you will be magnanimous and don't stoop to my level and accept my apology, the elder said as he passed the ring. Sam took the ring and placed it in his pocket. He didn't reply the whole time and just looked at the elder coldly. The atmosphere became awkward and the elder said again, Sir, Sam. Will you please accept our apology and come to our family to accept our reception? Sam didn't reply to the question and said, I don't want to see you two near my mansion. If I see you two again, I will go straight to Piranha to place a bounty on your heads. Try me if you want. As for your reception, I am already surprised by how a family with esteemed rank 4 artisan behaves. I never thought that an artisan with such esteemed status will let an idiot like you to use the status like that. I don't want to see any other reception from your family. Get lost. He closed the door right on their faces and walked towards the hall where everyone is waiting. The girls pulled Cully to their side and started consoling her. After everyone calmed down a bit, they finally looked at Sam. They don't know how to talk to him now. Never did they expect that they will see Sam, a kid who is same age as us, even younger by a few months, can make a threat like that. They felt chills run down their spine and hearts trembling. They were afraid of what happened. Sam looked at them and took a deep breath before he spoke. I don't know how you feel about me. But one thing I can tell you is that this is the real me. All of you didn't know this part of me because there was never a situation like this before. Kelly. He called Kelly and looked straight into her eyes. Kelly looked at the handsome face and deep black eyes, which are very familiar yet at this instance felt very strange. She only came out of the daze when Sam continued. I am really sorry for what happened to you today. I don't know if you will forgive me, and neither will I request you to forgive me. You have every right to be angry and hate me. But if there's any way I can make it up to what happened today, please tell me. As long as I am alive and that whatever you want is within my capabilities, I will do it. You can request it from me anytime you want. For now, please take this as a small token of sincerity. Sam passed the spatial ring sent over by the Violet Dew family to Kelly. She took it dazedly and looked as Sam went back to his room. Sam sat in his study as he took a deep breath to calm his thoughts. He really doesn't want to face Kelly right now. Even though he is cold and ruthless, he really can't accept an unrelated innocent life and risk to get something out of him. If he gave in to them earlier, he was pretty sure that the demands will keep on increasing. That is why he has to be that ruthless. Sam calmed himself down and took out all the scrolls Shadow Mice collected and placed them on the table. He took a scroll and opened it to read its content. When he was done reading it, he took a deep breath at the revelation. He understood clearly what these scrolls are. These are the scrolls containing orders. These orders are given to the boss of Piranha, from their immediate superior, and Sam was struck dumb because of who the superior is. Jack, Sam shouted on top of his lungs. Jack came to his room hurriedly only to see Sam pointing him to read the scrolls. When he was reading the scrolls, his eyes widened again and again due to the details. Meanwhile, Kelly and Hawk are sitting in the hall. Hawk didn't know what to say as he looked at the fragile, beautiful girl with such tired and haggard expression. After some time, he took a deep breath before he asked, Are you okay, Kelly? Kelly looked at him with a sweet smile on her sad face. After all, she is just a young girl, and going through a kidnapping experience is not something to be happy about. But she is still trying to smile as much as she can. Looking at her effort to look strong, Hawk continued. I am really sorry. I didn't know that the city guards are that lax. As the son of the Count, I really feel ashamed. I will consult my father and give you and Sam an explanation. Thank you. Cully replied weakly. I have another thing to say. Hawk spoke and took out a bunch of invitations from his storage ring. Among the bunch there are 4 invitations which are different and seemed more elegant. He placed them on table and said, My father is hosting a banquet at the Count Mansion in a week. These are the invitations for you all. All the participants are invited along with the supervisors. The invitations for them were already sent to the inn they were staying in. There I learned you dress from your principal. There will be a ball, so it is better to come with a partner. I don't know if Sam will meet me after all that happened. So, I will leave. Please, pass on the invitations to others and I really hope you will come. Bye. Kelly took the invitations and started distributing them. She saw that the 4 special invites are for people who are in top 10. And there are 4 people in top 10 from their Starwood City. Sam, Jack, Philip and herself, all four of them are in top 10. In Sam's study. Both Sam and Jack are almost done with scrolls. Their expression turned heavy. Not only the scrolls contained information of Piranha and its orders from Superior. There are also a list of members in the organization and the sister organizations other than Piranha they have dealings with. The sheer number of the members, establishments and everything involved made their heart beat faster. And the main thing that surprised Sam most was, his suspicion was real. Black Pond is the branch of Blackwater in Falcon Cliff City. And what surprised him even more is that the two organizations that are ruling the underworld of the Falcon Cliff City, the Piranha and Kandiru, are both the underlings of the Black Pond. The network and the members established by these organizations ran too deep in the city. Now, he understood why the Count left the organizations alone. The information network that they are maintaining is enough to make one fear them. Jack and Sam stayed silent for a long while. Jack finally heaved a sigh and asked Sam, "What should we do now?" "Don't ask me. The revenge is yours. I am only here to assist you and for a share in the riches. If you want to continue on the revenge, I will help you. If you want to back down, that's it." Sam replied in a calm tone. Jack pondered for a few minutes and said, "Do you have a plan?" Sam smiled at the question and replied, "After 2 days, we will meet here and I will tell you the plan. Meanwhile, you go and buy some black clothes, mask and other stuff to disguise ourselves." Both of them stood up and walked out. When they opened the bedroom door, they saw Cully standing there holding 2 cards in her hands. When she saw Jack was also there, her expression became awkward. Jack was also puzzled over her reaction and looked at her in a confused gaze, not understanding the situation at all. Then Philip, who was hiding in a corner, came out and said with a scowl on his face, "Jack, I have something to talk about." Jack excused himself and walked towards Philip. "What do you want to talk about?" Jack asked. Philip rolled his eyes and said, "I never thought you were so dense." Then he dragged him away. Cully heaved a sigh of relief and took a look at Sam before handing over one of the invitation cards. Sam took it and opened it while hearing Cully speak. "Hawk gave this invitation. There's a banquet in a week at the Count Mansion." Her voice was sweet as always. "Thank you." Sam thanked her and looked at her faint smile. He still felt guilty about what happened, so he wasn't able to meet her eye directly. Then Cully herself spoke first. "Sam, you said you will do anything to make it up to me, right?" Sam was surprised for a second before nodding his head. Then she continued, "I have something to ask you," Cully said as she lowered her head. Then she continued, "Will you take me as your partner to the banquet?" When Sam heard this, he was stupefied for a second. Never did he expect that the request Cully would make would be one like this. She could have asked for anything. After all, Cully is not dumb enough to not understand Sam's future prospects. She could use this promise to get a lot in the future, but she is asking for him to bring her as a date. He doesn't even know what to say. "Are you sure, Cully?" Sam asked again. "Yes." Cully replied resolutely. Sam sighed and said, "You don't have to use my promise like this. I will still take you as my date for that night. You should use this promise for something better. Who knows, maybe in the future, I can even give the whole empire to you if you ask." Sam said a little jokingly. Both of them walked downstairs. While Cully went back to her room and Sam walked out of the mansion. After a while, he entered Vickers' shop. He saw the middle-aged man with his mischievous expression sitting on a chair at the counter, as if he was awaiting his visit. "Oh, if it isn't my favorite customer," Vickers said as soon as he saw Sam. Sam didn't reply and just walked towards the counter. Before Vickers could speak, he said, "I want the crystal bamboo plants." Sam directly made his request, without making any other statements. He still felt wary of this weird man, and he didn't really want to spend time with this guy. "May, I know why you want them," Vickers asked with a grin. He was curious as to what Sam is going to do with them. He is keeping a close eye on Sam since he came to his shop for the first time, and he has a vague idea on what Sam's goal is. But he didn't know what Sam is going to do with the crystal bamboos. But Sam didn't give him the answer and only stayed silent. "Okay, then. How many do you want?" Vickers resigned to himself that there will be no answer. "As many as you can get. There is no upper limit." "When are they going to be ready?" "Come back and tomorrow." Sam immediately left after he got his answer. He went to the cave and saw that Sky is still undergoing the evolution. Yan was watching over Sky, while Watt and Falk are cultivating. When Sam saw Watt, he was a bit surprised. "You broke through?" Sam asked, but he knew for sure that is the fact. Watt opened his eyes and looked at Sam with excitement. He immediately stood up and said, "Yes, boss. I broke through. I am a level 1 acolyte now." Sam could hear the sense of achievement from Watt's voice. He nodded in satisfaction and said, "Take a break for today. After Sky's evolution is done, you will stay with me. We are going to leave this cave. As for the martial techniques, you don't have to worry about that. I have some minor tasks to do. After that, I will train you personally." Now, go and buy yourselves some exquisite cloths and have some fun, Sam said as he passed over a load of spirit stones. Watt took them and left along with Falk. Sam then brought out the panther from the dimension. The panthers are large, that they are at least 4 times of normal panthers on Earth. When they saw Yanwu, they immediately forgot their size and immediately leapt towards him. After playing around for a bit, all of them calmed down. Sam then started taking measurements of the panthers, along their legs, necks, etc. After he was done with the measurements, he took out a piece of paper and started drawing something. Time passed, and at night, Watt returned with some food. He was surprised to see 2 big panthers in the cave, but the surprise vanished after he saw them acting like cute kittens with Sam, purring and scratching to get Sam's attention. 2 towering beasts which are far taller than Sam, acting like that made a really funny scene. That night, Sam spent in the cave. He missed Yanwu a lot as he was busy with all the tournament. Next day morning, Sam went to the city on a shopping spree. He went to all the shops that do business with metals and ores, and bought 3 types of metals, not leaving a single piece in the shops. Even the artisan tower was emptied of these materials. The first one fire bronze, a grade 3 material. The second one is purple gold, and the final item is ink steel, both of them grade 2 materials. Sam bought these for 2 purposes. First one is that he needs to make some armor for the panthers. Second one is that he has a plan to make a new toy, and this is especially important against dealing with this black pond. After he was done with the metals, he went on another shopping spree. This time though, he bought herbs which are used for making pills and potions. But Sam didn't just buy the herbs of fire or wind element. Instead, he bought herbs of almost all elements available. By the end of the day, he bought herbs related to fire, wind, water, wood, dark attribute. He even bought all the herbs which have neutral attribute. But one thing that is common in all these herbs is that they all affect such as recovering the spiritual energy, increasing the cultivation speed, purifying the spiritual energy. All the pharmacies in the whole city were filled with joy, while the people who were in need of these herbs are frustrated. But Sam didn't care any of them, and just bought all the things he needed, before he went to Vickers' shop. Are my crystal bamboo plants ready? Sam asked as soon as he entered the shop. Here. Take a look. There are around 120 bamboo plants. Vickers passed a pouch towards Sam. This is one of the inventions of the scholar artisan. This is called a flora space. It is used to store the live plants. Sam took the pouch and checked the space with the spiritual sense, and after confirming that there are 120, he asked the price. 12,000 spirit stones. Sam passed the amount and went back to the cave. He then checked his finances and smiled bitterly. He was only left with 200,000 spirit stones. He really spent a lot in these few days. He then made up his mind that he needs to find a way to earn some spirit stones as soon as possible. He looked at Sky, who is still in the middle of the formation. He sensed that the aura of the rock changed completely. It turned to more primordial, more tyrannical, more supreme than before. He also saw the changes in the feathers which had a newfound alias tree to them. Seems like the process is faster than I thought. Sky might be ready by morning. Sam mumbled and leaned over Walt to sleep. Caw-caw, Sam, wake up, wake up. Sam woke up by Yanwu's call. It is still dawn. Caw-caw, Sam, Sky is finished evolving. Sam immediately came out of his daze. He immediately looked at the formation. There was a huge rock standing with its head held high as it spread its wings. The brown feathers have a faint golden alias tree to them. The Sky Sovereign rock is standing there majestically. When Sam woke up, he rubbed his head to Sam's body meekly to show his gratitude. Screech, thank you, Sam. Sam heard Sky thanking him. He patted his head with a smile. After that, Sam took a step back and started making some hand seals as he chanted something. After a while, a rune appeared out of Sam's body and flew towards Sky. Sky stood there with his eyes closed. When the rune neared it, something seemed to be activated inside his body. Soon a rune which similar to the one came out of Sam's body, came out of Sky's body and shot towards Sam. Both of them just stood there as the runes entered each other's body. Both of them felt their energies merging together and increasing at the same time. After a while, Yanwu joined from the side, and 3 of them formed a triangle. Sam stood like a node. Inside Sam's body, the transparent spiritual core in which there are 2 wisps of one golden flame and a golden light, there was a condensation of spiritual energy as a small tornado formed, indicating the wind element. At the same time, there was exchange between 3 of them. The wind element energy from Sky entered Sam's body and converted into fire and light elements before going to Yanwu. The fire and light elemental energies entered from Yanwu, converted into wind elemental energy, and entered into Sky's body. Watt and Falk both looked at the trio as they opened their wide open. Both of them were absolutely stunned. They didn't know what is going on between the trio, but they knew that something amazing is going on. Watt could faintly tell that 3 are becoming a single entity right now. They seem to be connected. After some time, all 3 of them broke through. Sam became a novice, while the two beasts became level 3 beasts. There was a surge of energy wave that spread over all the Falcon Cliff, making all the beasts bow down as they turned towards the direction of cave. They noticed the superior aura of Yanwu's sky and are paying their respects to them obediently. They are acknowledging their superior by prostrating themselves. The three of them opened their eyes at the same time, feeling a surge of newfound energy. Ah, caw, scratch. One man and two beasts looked upwards as they roared in unison. Sam and the rest calmed down after a while, and he sat cross-legged in order to examine his new abilities. He spread out a hand to control the air around. He concentrated on the surrounding wind and condensed it until it was visible to the naked. He started controlling it along with his fingers' movements. But it was pretty difficult and is taking him a lot of concentration. Then he dispersed the wind, he closed his eyes and activated his observing ability. From his senses he could see the air around him in a completely different way. He could see the air in the form of the mixture of the various gases. Even though he couldn't actually see it, he could sense the different gas particles and differentiate if he concentrated. Sam closely observed the air he was breathing in and out. What he was trying to do is that if he can identify the different gases in the air, and the first gas he could think of was oxygen. When he looked at the air he breathed in and compared it with the air he breathed out, he could sense that certain gas is missing, and he wanted to identify it. After some trials, he was unable to differentiate the gas and finally gave up. Maybe I should increase my mental power and try it again after increasing my concentration level. Sam thought inwardly and stood up. He then looked at Watt and said, "Change your dress, we are going home." After a while, Sam is back at the mansion. This is the day when he has to discuss plans with Jack. He brought along Watt and Falk. While Yanwu and Sky both are in the divine dimension along with two panthers. Pick any room which is empty, Sam said to Watt, and after the latter decided on a room, he took him to his study. After a while, Jack came and sat across the table. "Who is this?" Jack asked as he pointed at Watt. But Watt didn't bother to reply. He stood behind Sam with his back straight. "He is my subordinate." Jack didn't think much after Sam's reply and asked, "What is the plan?" "The strength of the Black Pond is beyond our limits. We can forget about fighting head-on. What we can do is use some under-the-table means to deal with them. Their combined strength is that they have 500 acolytes, 100 novices, and in which 68 of them are in early stages, 20 middle stage, 8 late stage, and the remaining 4 at the peak stage. The last and the main strength of the Black Pond is that they have a great mage at early stage. In charge of the Black Pond restaurant." Sam recited all this info in a single breath. This is the info in the scrolls that were stolen by the shadow mice. He doesn't know why this kind of info was written in the scrolls, but B was glad that there was written. He took a breath and then continued. "Among these members the acolytes are completely used for information. They are completely oblivious who they are really working for. They are working for either the Piranha of Kandiru. They don't know the existence of their superior named Black Pond or Blackwater. The acolytes are spread all over the city. There are some inn workers, restaurant owners, hooligans, students in the academy, workers and some families etc. They have most normal jobs possible. The early stage novices are a bit spread over in the upper circle, while they still take tasks from the Piranha and Kandiru. They knew that both are a combined organization, but still oblivious of the Black Pond. The middle stage and late stage novices are the ones who are mostly management staff of the organization. They are responsible for taking tasks, managing the brothels, trade of the slaves etc. The peak stage novices are direct subordinates of the leader who is the great mage, and are 4 overlookers of the organization. When Sam finished saying this, Jack was a bit confused on why he is saying all this, and Watt was surprised. He never thought that there is such a huge organization running under noses of the Count. Sam then looked at Watt as if to observe latter's reaction. Jack then only understood that Sam is saying the information for Watt. After a few seconds of silence, Sam continued. "First, we will target the acolytes who are working in restaurants and inns or other settlements. We will leave those people who are in the families and academy. We will only target those in the city and particularly those who infiltrated the gangs. We are going to take them out. We will take care of them region after region. We will only act at night. After we are done with this, we will take next step." Sam finished saying as he looked at Jack. Jack thought for a moment and asked, "What region are we taking on tonight?" "Eastern region. But before that we have something else to do," Sam said and stood up. He took out a bundle of scrolls and gave them to Watt and instructed, "Take them to the artisan tower and assign tasks to make them. No matter how many artisans it takes, I need them to be ready by tomorrow. Do you have enough spirit stones to pay up?" Watt nodded and immediately went out. He left Falk in his room and immediately went to the artisan tower. "We have to make a visit to Piranha," Sam said as went out along with Jack. After a while, both of them are at the doorstep of the restaurant in which Eisen placed a bounty on Sam's panthers. Both of them walked towards a remote private room and knocked 3 times on the door. After the same knocking was heard from inside, both of them went in. Sam and Jack took seat in front of a person who is completely covered in black clothes and a face mask. "What is the task?" the black figure asked. "I need some beasts." Sam passed him a note and said. When the latter looked at the beasts inside the note, he took a look at Sam again as he sized him up. "Alive or dead?" "Alive. 50,000 spirit stones," the black figure said after some thinking. Sam immediately took out a leather bag and paid up. "They will be ready by tomorrow," the black figure immediately replied after accepting the payment. Both Jack and Sam stood up and walked towards the door. Before he left, Sam said, "Deliver them to my mansion. I believe you guys know the address." After they went out, Jack asked, "What is in the list?" He couldn't hold back his curiosity. After all, their aim is to destroy Piranha, and here Sam is giving them a task to earn his money. Green mist toad, brown fang snake, black strip spider, three-tailed scorpion. Sam listed out some names. Jack was shocked as he heard the names. Even though he doesn't know about all the beasts in the list, he knew some of them. All of them have one thing in common. They are all extremely venomous and poisonous. The venoms and poisons are so potent that even novices can't escape completely unscathed. "What do you need all of these for?" Jack asked as he looked at Sam with widened eyes. But he only got a smile in reply. On their way back to mansion, both of them didn't speak at all. That night, both Sam and Jack came out of the mansion silently. They came to the backyard only to see two huge birds. One is Sky, and another one is a whirlwind falcon similar to Falk. Sam has sent Sky out to get this bird. He pointed the whirlwind falcon and said to Jack, "That would be a ride for the night. Take this note. These are your targets for today. Make it as soon as possible," he said as he boarded Sky and went away flying. Jack didn't feel much surprised about Sam having more beasts. He boarded the falcon and he also went away. That night, the eastern region of the city fell into chaos. Particularly, many gang members of the Eastern Gang are found dead in many areas. Other than that, some inns and restaurants are left on fire or collapsed completely. The Eastern Gang and the city guards on duty were all given a huge shock. The killings are very fast and swift. Nobody knew who the killer is. But all they could see is that the killer came on a bird-type beast and killed the target without any words and left silently. The city guards immediately went to confront the Eastern Gang in the middle of night. They thought that the Eastern Gang is responsible for this, because this didn't seem like revenge at all. It is more like wrecking the business, and when the guards inquired further, they thought that these shops might be some who rejected to pay the protection fee. The corpses of some of the Eastern Gang members near the settlements only gave them more assurance on their thoughts, as they thought these members might be casualties in the confrontation between the shop owners and the gang. Sam and Jack finished the job as quickly as possible and came back to the mansion. The two birds immediately disappeared as soon as they landed, giving Jack a huge scare. But he didn't question Sam and kept his curiosity to himself. Next day, the news of deaths was completely spread among the masses. All of them also believed the conjecture of the city guards. They felt that this issue was caused by the gang themselves. But only 3 people knew the conjecture was entirely wrong. They're Jack, Sam, and the novice in charge of supervising the intel given by the acolytes. He was completely shocked when he saw that more than 75% of the acolytes in the eastern region dead. He clearly knew about the acolytes who died are all in the same team. That is why he is FL.us turd. After all, killing these acolytes means that the other party knew about the organization. If he didn't find who targeted them, the higher-ups will definitely deal with him. So, he didn't report the news to the higher-ups immediately and wanted to investigate. But all leads disappeared with only one result. The killer is on a bird-type beast. Meanwhile, the perpetrators are resting in a mansion. Sam was quite busy today. He has a day full of plans he needs to do. Watt went to Artisan Tower to receive the items he ordered yesterday. While his yard was now filled with all kinds of venomous beasts. All of them are delivered by the people from Piranha. They were locked with restriction placed on them and were sealed. Sam went into the yard and took them all inside the divine dimension, and went back to his room. After instructing that no one should come and disturb him, he went to the second floor of the tower. Sam is looking at the various beasts, which are varying quantities. He took out some watts and started collecting all the venom of the beasts. For example, he extracted the venom from the fangs of snakes. He fleeced the skin of the green mist toad, which is extremely poisonous, the poison sac of the three-tailed scorpions. He collected the venoms separately in various watts. After the process is completed, he took out a cauldron and mixed the venoms in it with a slight flame below. He closed the lid and left it on the flame without doing anything. He stayed like that until everything in the cauldron came to liquid state. He just placed the lid like that and just stopped applying the heat through fire. When he came out, Watt already came back from the Artisan Tower. Sam took the parts and went to the boss.ement of the mansion, to where both Jack and Watt followed. He started assembling the machine under the surprised and confused gazes of the both of them. By the time he was done, it was already afternoon. Sam was done assembling the machine and is examining if it is working properly. The machine is a manual pressing machine. A pressing machine is used for creating things from sheet metals. The machines, which are operated by hydraulic power, are used for making the frames for cars and other automobiles. The large-scale ones are even used in making some parts of aircrafts. Manual pressing machine is a small-scale version which operates with human effort. These manual pressing machines are used for making things which are small and doesn't need much precision and dimensions. What Sam has in front of him is a manual pressing machine, but it is a bit larger in size. Basically, the manual pressing machines will be small enough to be used by humans directly, because the effort that can be applied from the human hands is limited, and cannot be used to make any big objects. But Sam's manual pressing machine is of large size. It is as big as a hydraulic press in model world. Why did he make it in this size though? Because the humans here can make the effort required to operate this machine. The machine has 2 columns on both sides, which are mounted on a solid metal bed. The bed doesn't only support the columns, it also has a work-holding device which is also a die. A die in this machine is like a mold. It has a shape which the final product is required to be made. Then there would be upper die, which is the opposite shape of the lower die. It is movable, and the columns act as guideways for its vertical movement. There is a wheel on top of whole frame. It is parallel to the ground. When the wheel is rotated, the upper die is moving down, and when it is rotated in opposite direction, the upper die will move upwards. The upper and lower dies will be in such a shape that if one has a cylindrical hollow, then the other will have a cylindrical protrusion with almost same dimensions. The dies if put together will be a fit. So, when a sheet metal piece is placed in between both of them, and force is applied to the dies, the sheet metal will be turned into the shape in which the dies are designed. For example, if the dies are with cylindrical protrusion and hollow, the final product will be in shape similar to that of cylindrical cup. This operation is also called drawing operation. After making sure that the machine is alright, Sam took out a sheet of fire bronze from his storage. Why is the fire bronze being in sheet form? That is because the fire bronze is a metal which is soft, and is mainly used for making the metallic covers. It has a good affinity with fire elemental energy. Since the metal doesn't have any major properties and suitable for making direct weapons and armors, and only for making some auxiliary products, the artisans aren't willing to make much effort to refine the ore directly. That is why the artisan tower will let the young artisan apprentices practice their fire control by refining this type of ores, and they will sell them in these processed forms. Sam took a circular piece which he had already cut previously, and placed it on the workpiece holder. Then he held the wheel and started rotating it. The upper die started moving, and soon the deformation of the small sheet metal started. Sam withdrew the upper die and removed the metal piece on the work holder. Now the workpiece is in the shape of small cylindrical metal cup. The metal cup has 4 inches diameter, and the depth is 1 inch. He turned towards Watt and Jack before taking out a big sheet of fire bronze. There are several circular markings on the sheet. Both of you have only one thing to do till the evening. Cut out the pieces off of the sheet and use the machine to make these hollow cups. After one sheet is done, replace the dies with another set. There is another sheet with different dimensions, and you have to make them also in the same way. If you find any problem with the machine, you can find me. After saying his piece, Sam went away without even looking back. Jack and Watt exchanged a look and started working. At first, they really felt interesting. Making a shape out of the sheet with a single press. Even though the machine is very different and they haven't seen that before, they felt that it is quite efficient. But after some time, they felt bored to do the same thing again and again. Meanwhile, Sam went to the room and entered the divine dimension. He took out the crystal bamboo plants and started planting them in various elemental zones. These crystal bamboo plants are quite unique in nature. They actually don't have any special characteristics. They are of neutral by nature, but if they were grown in a place abundant of fire elemental energy, they will change color and gain characteristics of fire elemental energy. Then that bamboo can be used for short-term preservation of fire elemental consumables. These crystal bamboos are mainly used to serve wine with spiritual energy. That means, the fire elemental spiritual wine can be served in a fire elemental crystal bamboo, and the effects of the wine will be preserved, and wouldn't be dissipated for a certain amount of time. The bamboos will lose these effects after they are removed from the tree. Right now, Sam is in a corner of the neutral zone in the divine dimension where he planted 10 bamboo plants. He dug a hole near the plants and buried all the carcasses of the poisonous beasts. He laid a formation to supply abundant spiritual energy to them. Generally, these crystal bamboos will grow very fast. They will reach their full limit in just 20 days, and for Sam it will be done as 10 days. Sam came out of the dimension and started preparing for tonight. When the night came, 2 birds soared in sky and created a sleepless night to all the guards in the western region. The novice supervisor of the Black Pond felt like his world collapsing. In a single night, all the information network of the Black Pond in the western region is gone. Now, he also joined the search along with the supervisor of Eastern region. But this time the matter isn't simple. The superiors of the supervisors also got alerted and came to a conclusion that someone is targeting them. When the matter is taken to the manager of the Black Pond, he immediately became alert and FL.us. How can they get the details of members? Even if they have a spy, no one in the organization know all the details of the members. How can they know these details? A middle-aged man is shouting in the highest floor of the Black Pond restaurant. This man is precisely the one who offered the VIP card to Sam when he visited. Before him, there are 4 novice peak stage cultivators standing with their heads held down. There are 3 men and a woman. All of them are wearing black clothes. After the manager went silent, the woman spoke. Boss, even we don't know the complete details of members. We only deal with our respective regions. You are the only one who knew all the details, and if you don't tell them yourself, there is only one way for them to get these details. When she was finished, the manager opened his eyes wide. No, they can't. He immediately stood up and went to the room next door. He went inside and opened another secret door, in which there are a few racks with scrolls. He went through a shelf and screamed in rage. No. He immediately came back to the room and looked at the 4 people with rage-filled eyes. They stole our monthly report. Apart from us 5, there is no other person who knows where the monthly report is. Who is the spy? When the 4 people heard the manager's words, they immediately panicked. They didn't dare to react to deny first. Instead, they just stood there in silence. After a brief silence, the manager spoke again. I am giving you a week time. You better investigate who the spy is. Otherwise, I will kill all 4 of you. His voice was cold and ruthless. Yes, boss. 4 of them immediately said in unison and left. At the same moment, both Sam and Jack are sitting in the study and are talking to each other. We aren't going to do anything in the next few days. Right now, the whole organization will be in a mess. They might have found out about the missing scrolls and they will be investigating. They will be busy in investigating and restructuring the organization. They will even be in high alert for our next attack. So, we will not do anything for now. We will proceed after the banquet is over. Sam said while Jack nodded in understanding. Shadow mice. Sam called over. 3 small shadows floated over and came onto the table. Next 2 days, you guys will be in charge of finding the meeting spots of these novices. I need the details regarding on what times they will be holding these meetings. After he was done, he sent Jack and went to his room to enter the divine dimension. In the 2nd floor there are more than 100 cylindrical cups which both Jack and Watt made. He looked at them helplessly. Then he started drawing runes on the floor. He needs to inscribe all of them. When he was done with the first inscription, he said to himself, I should master etching as soon as possible. Then he continued drawing another inscription circle. Sam spent all the time in the tower for 10 days. That means 1 day has passed outside and night came again. Sam came out of the tower and went to the crystal bamboos where he buried the carcasses near. The crystal bamboos are already grown to a considerable size. Sam took out the cauldron with the poisonous mixture he made and retrieved a huge wad of liquor. Then he made a small hole in a bamboo section. He placed a small normal bamboo tube and started pouring the poisonous liquid in it. After the section was half full, he observed some resistance, and he used the wind energy to remove the remaining air from the section and force the liquor into it. After that, he stuffed the hole with some green leaves. What Sam is doing is using a Chinese technique to age a liquor in the bamboo to get a unique taste. But he is using this technique to create a liquor of poison. After 1 section is done, he started filling other sections in same manner. When he was finally over with his task, he went back to the inscription work. He went on and on with the same inscriptions again and again. He only finished when there is only 1 day left for the banquet. Sam went to look at the bamboo sections and started collecting the liquor. All the time, he tried his best to control the wind around him to not get infected from the fumes. After collecting all the liquor into a wad, he went upstairs into the 2nd floor of the tower and looked at the 2 piles of cylindrical cups. He felt exhausted at the thought of what he has to do now. He only has 10 days after all. The 10 days are, of course, in the dimension. Sam took out a sheet of fire bronze. He took out the makeshift claws he made for temporary use and wore the one for right hand. He spread the sheet of fire bronze open and placed the tip of the claw near one edge. He forcefully cut a small line of fire bronze with the claw. He used a small bamboo pipe as a support and bent the wire on it in such a way that after some time, a small spring was in his hands. He repeated the same method and made several springs. After that job was done, he took a cylindrical cup from each pile. In one glance both the cups seemed to be of same size, but if carefully observed, one would realize that one cup is a little bit smaller than the other. The dimensions are in such a way that the inner diameter of the big cup is equal to the outer diameter of the small cup. There are various types of runic symbols on both the cups, and the symbols are so dense and complex too. He picked up the bigger cup. There is a thin L-shaped slit on the curved surface. The smaller cup has a small protrusion on one end. Sam placed the spring and welded one end on the inner side of the big cup. He took the smaller cup and placed it inside the bigger cup. The cavities of both cups will face each other, and the protrusion will enter the L-shaped slit. He applied force so that the spring would compress, then he placed his finger on the outer side of the smaller cup. The spot is exactly where the spring end would be inside. He started heating the spot. The metal went soft and started melting. Just before the metal will drip and form a hole, he stopped, but the spring end already formed a bond. After the joint cooled off, he made a hole on the curved surface area and started pouring the poisonous liquor inside it until it was full. After Sam placed his palm over the larger cup and rotated it. The protrusion on the smaller cup, which just entered the slit vertically, moved horizontally. He took out a piece of metal wire and placed the wire in the small hole, which he made on the small protrusion. Sam stood up and laid a restricting formation a distance away. Then he took out the small wire piece, which is acting as pin for holding the cup from rotating backwards in its place, and immediately threw it inside the formation, while he ran away from it. In a few seconds, a small explosion sound came and a smoke full of poison filled the restriction formation. Sam controlled the tower's second floor and eliminated the smoke before working. He is repeating the same thing he did and created several of these. But he didn't use them like before and just kept them aside. These are the things he wanted to use against the Black Pond. Actually, what he is using is a simple makeshift hand grenade which depends on the spring. When he rotated the cups, the spring will also rotate and will have to try to push them back to their original place. But the small pin made of wire is holding it there. When the pin is removed, the cups will move back to the original position, where there will be a hole appearing on the curved surface, through which he filled it with liquor. After a few seconds, the liquor will catch a fire, and the poisonous fumes will be coming out of the hole with an explosion. How is the liquor catching the fire? That is the reason the runes are for. Sam placed an inscribed formation which is responsible for collecting the spiritual energy in surroundings. He made the inscription by combining the two cups. The first half of the inscription is on the bigger cup and the other half is on the smaller cup. When both halves aligned, the formation will activate. The formation will gain its aligned form after the pin is removed. As for why the formation didn't activate when pouring the liquor, it is due to the fact that Sam's actions are fast and didn't give enough time for the formation to fully activate. Then for the next step. After the formation is activated, it will direct the spiritual energy to the consumable inscription which was laid inside of cavity of the cup. It is a flaming inscription. The spiritual energy gathered through the formation will activate the flaming inscription which burns the liquor. Sam actually didn't want to make this poison liquor. But the liquor is the only way to burn it faster and spread the poison easily. If not for the fact that there is no time, he wouldn't use these methods to deal with them. And time is not there because Sam needs to take care of the panther's body. The panthers need some nourishment to adapt to the changes in their bodies, and there are only a very few methods to provide the nourishment. Otherwise, he would have took his sweet time to plot after understanding his new wind element powers. He kept on making the sets with incredible speed. After he was finally done, he only has an afternoon left for going to the banquet. The ladies in the mansion are already making their preparations. Sam came out of the tower to take a shower before going for a nap. When he woke up, all the people in the mansion are ready. He washed up quickly and wore his usual clothes. His black vest, black pants and his feather coat. When he came downstairs, he saw everyone already sitting and waiting. Even the principal and the city lord, along with few candidates who lived in the inn, came here. All of them are waiting for Sam to come. When they saw that he is sleeping, nobody dared to disturb him. Apparently, the incident with Cully's kidnap made them have a sense of fear towards him. Philip and Jack didn't wake him up, because it is, after all, rare for one to sleep. Most people will be cultivating. Since Sam is sleeping, they know that he might have been too tired and just let him be. Cully immediately stood up as she saw him coming down. She is wearing the cheongsam Sam made for her. Her hair was tied up into a bun. She looks stunning. But he doesn't have much reaction. The little bit of awe he felt was that the dress really suited her just as he imagined. Both Freya and Cully are wearing the dresses he made for them. The dresses are of same design yet different colors. They are absolutely satisfied with themselves. And one could guess it just from their delighted expressions. Sam walked out after greeting the principal. The carriage is already prepared. The two blazing earth bowls are strapped to the carriage. Sam looked backwards and called Cully over. The latter was a bit nervous as she walked towards him. Under the astounding gazes of all people, Sam opened the carriage door and let her board it first. Everyone was looking at the handsome young man with incredulous expressions. Just a few days back they were almost sure that this guy was a king of hell in disguise. The impact from the kidnapping incident couldn't be forgotten for the life. But now, this cold and arrogant guy, this ruthless and merciless guy, is opening the door for a lady with a smile as warm as early morning sun. Sam didn't care about what others were thinking. He is only doing this because he is a man of his words. He promised Cully that she would be her date for tonight, and she will be treated as one. That's it. After Cully boarded the carriage, he followed along with the others. Soon, the carriage started moving and they arrived at the Count mansion within a few minutes. After all, the level 2 beasts aren't for nothing, and the traffic was fully cleared as the people on the street saw 2 beasts running. When they came down the carriage, all of them were in awe to see the majesty of the Count's mansion. By far this is the biggest mansion they have seen, and this place didn't place to impress them. Even Sam felt that the craftsmanship and the architecture is great. The group entered the banquet hall. Sam is walking at the back of the group with Cully linking her arm with him. When they arrived at the door of the banquet hall, they gathered all the attention from people. The main reason is that they were the last to arrive. Even though the banquet hasn't started, all of them came so early to curry favor with the Count if possible, and to gain some connections. But Sam's group just arriving on time made them surprised. After all, who would just miss a chance to leave an impression on Count? The people from the noble families and other cities already arrived. After entering the banquet, Sam took Cully to a place with less people. He has no interest in socializing right now, but his efforts are in vain. Soon, many people started coming and greeting him. Some even came only for Cully. He just replied to their greetings out of courtesy. Actually, there are tables already arranged for them. But nobody is in mood for just sitting and waiting. Everyone is talking to each other with all kinds of intentions marked by their smiles. Sam first went to an isolated corner to avoid this. But since he can't avoid this, he might as well go to the table, and so he did. When he went to the table, he saw that the chairs are already reserved specifically. Jack and Philip are already here. Even the weird trio are already sitting, albeit silently. When Sam and Cully arrived, Jack and Philip cleared the 2 seats for them directly to let them sit side by side. He didn't reject and sat there. Now, there are only 3 empty chairs at the table, which are seats for Hawk, Ray and Drew. There are still a few minutes for banquet to begin. But these few minutes are torture for Sam. All kinds of people are coming to greet him, with flattering smiles. They're so obvious at their boot-licking attempt that it felt like they aren't even hiding their intentions. But they are all some small fries. Only they're coming up to suck up to him. When he saw that the rest of the members are sitting leisurely without any disturbance, Jack and Philip are looking at him with gloating smiles. Sam gritted his teeth as he thought, I will get my chance. You can gloat all you want. The rest of the people are really free. Nobody is greeting them, and even someone did that out of courtesy. All the people are coming towards him, not because of his status of first place ranker, rather his status of the artisan. He is a rank 3 artisan after all. Sam is getting frustrated over this. After a few moments, all the people in the hall turn towards the entrance again. There are 3 people who are entering, and 3 of them are Hawk, Ray and Drew. Everyone greeted them as soon as they saw. This time, even the noble family people also went to greet them. Sam overheard something which piqued his interest. See, 3 people of the Big 4 are here. I wonder the last one will come today. Yeah. It has been a long time since the Big 4 has gathered. Sam looked at Hawk and the others walking towards the table. When they arrived, Hawk greeted him first. Hi Sam. Thanks for coming. He said with a bright smile. Don't mention it. Thanks for inviting me. Sam also said with a smile. Then he looked at Ray and Drew. Hello. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. They also exchanged greetings and made some small talk. Even Kelly, Jack and Philip are pulled in. Only the weird trio aren't talking. Sam suddenly thought of the Big 4 thing and asked, what is the Big 4 they're talking about? Sam asked with a curious expression. But it was Cully that gave him reply. Haha, that is actually something we made up when we were kids. At that time, we agreed that the top 4 people in the capabilities of our generation will be named as Big 4, and the rest of the younger generation should respect the 4 and treat them as leaders. Even though we started this as a joke, the thing actually spread among the city, and the Big 4 were named since we awakened. Hawk is always the first in the rank, and he still kept it that way. Everyone couldn't help but laugh at that. Some kids fooling around actually became this popular in the city, and they even followed the suggestion. Then who is the 4th one? Sam asked. Well, you might see her today. So, don't be in a hurry. Hawk replied. After a few moments, the banquet hall fell silent. The reason is that some people entered the hall. The group has Count and Principal Castor and led, while a few people are following them closely. They moved towards the main table, which is very near the table Sam and the rest of the rankers sat. Sam noticed a young woman, tagging along with a middle-aged woman in the group. After the group reached the table, the middle-aged lady whispered something to the young lady, and the latter left the table. Sam's gaze followed her. She sat at the Violet Dew family table. She sat beside a familiar girl whom Sam met before. She is Jessie, who was also part of Team 6. When he noticed the remaining people, he recognized another person. The middle-aged who sat on the other side of Jessie. He is the man who sent Cully back home along with the heads. Sam turned to Hawk and asked, "Who is that man?" Hawk followed Sam's gaze and immediately recognized the person. "He is father of Jessie Violet Dew." "Oh, who is that other girl then?" "She is Jasmine Violet Dew, a cousin of Jessie." Sam nodded and didn't ask further. After everyone settled down, Count Falcon stood up and made his speech. "First of all, thanks for all the guests here for attending this banquet. Today, we are here to celebrate the successful completion of the tournament, as well as to encourage the rankers who are able to enter the Marquis Academy. I don't want to bore you with some superficial words. Everyone let us enjoy all together. Let the banquet begin." After that, the dishes are served. All the tables are being served with meat of level 2 beasts, spiritual wine and herbal dishes made of rank 1 herbs. Sam enjoyed the food without much of care about all the socializing that was going on other tables. He didn't eat properly in past few days. He was completely stuck in the tower working his ass off. The dinner went on and soon, everyone moved to the ballroom which is adjacent to the banquet hall. There are some seating arrangements at corners of the room where some wine and some refreshments are arranged. There is a big dance floor. A stage is provided at one end of the room, and musicians are busy playing some melodious music. This ball is completely a socializing event. While some couples are dancing in the dance floor, the rest of the people are either spectating or talking to others with superficial smiles. Sam went over towards the Count and Principal Castor to make a toast with a glass of fruit juice. Kelly is tagging along with him. "Thanks for inviting me, Count Falcon," Sam said with a smile. "It is our honor for Sir Sam to come here," Count replied with a smile. After some small talk, the Count said, "Sir Sam, may I trouble you to stay here after the ball is over? I have something to discuss with you." Sam immediately guessed the intentions, but still agreed. After that, Sam went to stand at a corner and spectated young couples and old couples dancing for the music. He felt that he was back at his previous life for a moment. Then he shook his head to not let his thoughts wander. After some time, Hawk, Philip, Jack, Ray, Drew and Rest all joined him at the corner, again attracting attention. Freya is dancing with a young master. Her red hair, white skin and golden red dress with phoenix design, she attracted a lot of attention. Of course, Haley didn't lose out at all, but since she was conservative, she doesn't let anyone approach her. Soon, a young master came to their group. This noble second-generation kid is someone Hawk and others are familiar with. "Kelly, it has been a while since we last met. How about a dance?" The young master directly ignored all the crowd and asked Kelly for the dance. His gaze was completely locked on her as his lustful eyes roamed over her figure. Actually, Kelly is the most beautiful girl in the whole banquet. Only one girl in the younger generation can be compared with her. But no one has come to ask her for a dance, and why is that? Because her hands are linked with Sam's. But the young master completely ignored this. "Sorry, not interested." Kelly outright rejected. The young man gritted his teeth and looked at Sam. "Will you let her go for some time?" He is angry. But he can't direct his anger at Kelly, so he is trying to take it out on Sam. So, his voice is actually a bit loud. Before Sam could even react, Hawk said, "What do you mean, Eddie? You mean that Sam is not letting her go and stopping her from dancing with you?" Eddie didn't reply, but his expression said that he really is implying that. He was Kelly's #1 admirer since they were kids. But he didn't have any progress all these years. Before he was able to make a retort, someone came. There are two people who arrived to their corner. They're the middle-aged woman and young woman who came inside with Count. "Greetings, Artisan Sam. It is an honor to meet you." Maya Violet Dew greeted with a smile. "How can that be? Your Violet Dew family is very capable and powerful. I am the one who should be honored," Sam replied with somewhat cold and sarcastic tone. The young lady beside Maya has a change in her expression. He turned towards her and said, "This must be the last member of Big Four, Jasmine Violet Dew." Hawk and others were stunned. They didn't mention about the identity of Jasmine as part of Big Four, because they wanted to see if Sam would guess it correctly. And here he did it. "Nice to meet you too, Artisan Sam," Jasmine said in neutral tone. Sam sized her up after looking at her demeanor. She is as beautiful as Kelly. She has a brown shoulder-length hair, and her eyes are also brown in color. Her figure is not as voluptuous as Kelly. She has long legs which gave her different type of beauty. "What do you mean acting like that in front of Lady Maya? Don't you know that she is a rank 4 artisan? Even if you are rank 3 artisan, you still have to respect her as a senior. Seems like the ranking has gone to your head too much." Suddenly, Eddie, who was forgotten by the group, chided in. Sam frowned as he looked at him. Eddie felt even more frustrated after seeing latter's face and said again, "You might be a young genius artisan, but you still have to respect the status of the rank 4 artisan. Do you think so highly of yourself to the point that you can disregard Lady Maya's status?" Sam felt so frustrated by this clown that he wanted to slap him on the face. But he controlled himself. He looked at Maya and said, "I clearly knew how much artisan Maya's status is capable of. Her status enough to do anything they like in the Falcon Cliff City. Isn't it right, Lady Maya? Even Mr. Eddie also knew how much weight your status can pull. Sam again replied with sarcastic smile. Maya also felt frustrated. She immediately threw an unhappy glare at Eddie. She specifically came here to clear the misunderstanding and prejudice Sam might have towards her, but this idiot has to come here and paint her image as even more tyrannical. Who are you? She asked Eddie with a cold tone. But the latter was clearly unaware of it. He was delighted that he caught Maya's attention and said happily, Lady Maya, I am Eddie Rafsa. My father is the head of Rafsa family. Oh, the Rafsa family, is it? Maya muttered and turned towards Jasmine. Jasmine, remember the name of this family. We will be halting any dealings with Rafsa family indefinitely, and tell this to all the families and businesses we have relation with about this. Hearing this, Eddie was completely shocked and felt cold all over. Lady Maya, just as he was about to say something, Hawk interrupted. Eddie, one has to know their own limitations. You should know better than to wag your mouth in a conversation which you don't have any qualifications to participate. It will only get worse if you stay here. I think it is best if you go and find your father. Maya nodded at what Hawk said and turned to Sam. Artisan Sam. I know you have some prejudice towards me due to previous incident, and I can clearly understand you, but I believe there is some misunderstanding between us. In actual fact, I don't have any relation regarding that incident. I don't even know about what happened until it was reported to me after your way of handling things. The incident is completely done by Jessie and her father, and even family head doesn't have anything to do with it. I hope we can clear this misunderstanding, and I am here to invite you to dinner in Violet Dew Mansion. Sam raised his eyebrow and looked at her with some surprise. He didn't expect that the matter will be like this. He was really impressed with Jessie's and her father's guts to use a rank 4 artisan name, without even consulting her. When? Sam asked after some thought. When are you free, Artisan Sam? Then, I will contact you with the communication token then. I have some things keeping me busy for following days. Sam said as he withdrew the communication token that Jessie's father sent him. After both exchanged their spiritual signatures on the tokens, Maya and Jasmine left. Master, why are you polite to him? Jasmine asked with the same neutral tone. You'll understand in future. Maya said as she patted her on her shoulder. The corner again reached its initial situation. Sam was bored and just looked around the dance floor. He then involuntarily noticed that Cully is looking at the dance floor with some desire and some hesitant expression. He understood and extended his hand as he asked, Will you accompany me to a dance? Sam asked in a gentle tone. Cully was stunned for a moment and placed her hand in his, then both of them went into the middle of the dance floor, and slowly danced for the slow melody. They immediately gathered the attention of the crowd. After all, a handsome young man and a beautiful young lady, dressed in black which is completely on contrast to their fair skin, dancing to a beautiful melody. This scene was only a petal shower away from becoming a scene from a fairy tale. While people in the banquet hall are enjoying the dance and conversations, the southern region is in chaos. Numerous areas in the southern region are smashed and set on fire. Many acolytes are dead and many establishments are destroyed. The damage is very high. The city guards and the Surd novice are having a headache. When they noticed that there are no attacks after the western region, the Black Pawn thought that their restructuring was effective, but within 3 days their acolytes are again targeted and got attacked. They are suffering a setback after setback. The manager of the Black Pond is going on a spree of destroying the items in his residence. He doesn't know how the other party is able to gain intelligence on what is going on other side. He didn't even have a single clue. In the southern region on the top of a small inn, 2 birds are standing and looking at the burning shop. One of them is an ordinary raven, and the other one is an ordinary falcon. But nobody is noticing them. Even if they see them, they might not do anything. After all, who would care about 2 normal birds which are not even level 1 beasts when there is a shop burning in front of them? Sky, are we done for the night? Yes, this is the last place Sam that Shadow Mice mentioned. Most of the network in southern region is destroyed. The banquet was over. Sam and the rest of the group came back to the mansion. The next day, Cully behaved as if the kidnapping incident didn't happen at all. Sam and Jack are planning for what they have to do next in their plan. The Black Pond manager is pulling his hair in frustration about what to do against the enemy's intelligence network. He tried formations, but the formations aren't able to stop the shadows, and wherever the shadows are, the intelligence network can reach there. He tried to switch the locations of his subordinates, but bad for him, the shadows are there too. He tried to lay decoys and traps, but shadows were there when he planned that. All the failures and destruction of his intelligence network and more than 3/4 of the subordinate acolytes are done for just because he didn't pick a place with no shadows. And the ones who breached his anti-spying activities and is causing him to grit his teeth with frustration and vexation are still on their job now. Squeak squeak, hey 8, after the mission is over, can we have dinner together? Last time me and Seven ate something in Black Pond's kitchen, and their ingredients are amazing. Number 3. The male shadow mouse is asking the female shadow mouse who is with him today with on the watch duty. Squeak squeak, really, what did you guys eat? 3 asked. In shadow mice there are a total of 3 female mice, and remaining 7 are male mice. Squeak squeak, we don't know. Actually, 1 and 2 said that. They went on for dinner that night after returning from their watch duty. 3 said. 8. Squeak squeak, what 2 went to dinner with 1? She didn't even tell me. Damn it, ever since 1 and 2 started getting closer, me and 2 have very less time to hang out with each other. Now that 6 is also hitting on 10. We need to have a girl talk once. 3. Squeak squeak, well, we are the one who started this anyway. The most pitiful are 4, 5, 7 and 9. Those kids are all being left alone. Those guys are even getting into fights with each other. I think we need to take care of them. After all, we are their seniors. 8. Squeak squeak, yeah, you are right. After all, they are a lot younger compared to us. Maybe we really need to spend some time with them. 3. Squeak squeak, talking about younger ones, boss needs to really take care of these Black Pond soon. Those little panthers really went through a lot. These jerks really went overboard. 8. Squeak squeak, well, from we know of boss, these guys won't have any good ending. They just had to make a move on little panthers. Boss truly takes care of them after all. 3. Squeak squeak, yeah. By the way, do you know how he got little panthers? 8. Squeak squeak, no, why? Maybe he just stumbled up on them just like we met him. 3. Squeak squeak, no. I asked Yanwu about it and he said something interesting. The thing is, the panthers have been with boss since they were born. 8. Squeak squeak, boss picked them when they were just born. 3. Squeak squeak, let me finish talking, alright. Yanwu said that, at that time boss is still a newly advanced acolyte, and he went to hunt along with Guy Philip and his friends. There they encountered the scene where the mother panther just delivered the little panthers, and the father panther was sneaked up on by a golden blood tiger. Just when the tiger killed both father and mother panthers, boss intervened and fought the tiger to death. But the panthers weren't able to make it. Then boss promised the mother panther that he would take care of the babies. Yanwu said that boss didn't even take a single thing of panthers' corpses. He buried them directly. 8. Squeak squeak, really, no wonder boss was furious about when he saw little panthers in such a state. These Black Pond guys are done for. 3. That's for sure. Oh damn. This woman is here again. Maybe we should report this to boss. This almost became their daily routine. They're getting on it at the same time for the past 2 days. The door opened and a woman came in. As she walked towards the manager, who was sitting on the bed with a vexed expression. This woman is none other than the lady who is part of 4 novice peak mages. A few moments later, the room is filled with pleasurable MOANs. 3. Squeak squeak, this horny dog of a man, how can be in mood for this after all the mess that is waiting for him to clear up? 8. Squeak squeak, well, maybe the mess is the reason he is doing this. He might not have found anywhere else to vent his frustrations. 3. Squeak squeak, yeah, you are right. At the same time in another location. 1. Squeak squeak, hey 2. Should we go to dinner again tonight? 2. Squeak squeak, can you stop doing this? If boss knows that we are fooling around while on the mission, we are dead meat. 1. Squeak squeak, yeah, okay. Whatever you say. 2. Squeak squeak, okay, the 2 guys are going to split, now. Which of them do you want to follow? 1. Squeak squeak, why are we following these 2 guys specifically? Said a bit unhappily. 2. Squeak squeak, of course, because we know that these guys are the main culprits when attacking the little panther. One of them is the one who accepted the task from that Eisen guy, and the other is the one who executed the task. Boss specifically said that we need to look after these guys for these few days. He is planning something special for these guys. 1. Squeak squeak, yeah. You don't have to tell me. Suddenly 2 directly pushed 1 aside and said a bit angrily. 2. Squeak squeak, if you already know, why are you asking me again? You better stop lazing around and work properly. If not, I will complain to boss and let him toss you to Falca's food. HMPH. 1. Okay. I am going. At the same time another place. 4. Squeak squeak, haha, losers. Today I spotted 10 hiding spots where these novices are hiding. 5. Squeak squeak, do you think that you are all that just for spotting 10 spots? I have seen 11 spots today and guess what, one of them is even their meeting room. 7. Squeak squeak, what is so great about finding a meeting room? We can get there just by following them directly. You might as well not find a meeting room. 9. Squeak squeak, yeah, what is so great about finding a meeting room? 5. Squeak squeak, if you are all that, why don't say what you have done today? 9. Squeak squeak, I have 15 hiding spots, along with this weave and a routine of an overlooker. 7. Squeak squeak, I also got a routine of an overlooker and 14 hiding spots. 4. Squeak squeak, damn it. I lost again. Tomorrow I will beat you guys. 5. Squeak squeak, do you think that is going to happen? I will beat you tomorrow too. 7. Squeak squeak, whoa. 5. Why are you yapping your mouth for? Even you are talking now. How are you any better than 4? 4. Squeak squeak, yeah, at least I didn't waste time on finding a meeting spot. 5. Squeak squeak, hey, you guys looking for a beating? 4. Squeak squeak, come on then, I am not afraid of you. 7. Squeak squeak, let me join in the fun too. I will beat of you guys. 9. Squeak squeak, don't leave me out. Soon, the 4 mice came to blows and came to a standstill. 6. Squeak squeak, hey, kids, not again. Why are you fighting again? 2 mice which are slightly bigger than the first 4 came. 10. Squeak squeak, yeah guys, you shouldn't fight among yourselves. 4. Squeak squeak, sister. 10. 5 started this. 5. Squeak squeak, no. 4. How dare you pin this on me? Sister. 10. Don't listen to him. 4 is the one who started this. 10. Squeak squeak, HMPH. If you guys get into fight again, I will report to boss. 4. Squeak squeak, sister. 10. I will also tell on you guys to boss. All of you are going on dates without working properly. I wonder how boss will deal with you guys. 6. Squeak squeak, you brats. After this mission is over, I will definitely teach you guys a lesson. 10. Squeak squeak, okay. 6. Not you two. Kids, let's go. It is time to report. Boss must have woken up already. The plan to attack them on banquet night is pretty successful. Boss might have new instructions to us. 4. Squeak squeak, last one to reach the mansion is a loser. He immediately ran away. 7. Squeak squeak, hey, it is not fair. You are being too shameless. 5. Squeak squeak, damn it. 9. Squeak squeak, no way I am going to lose to you guys. 10. Squeak squeak, these kids. Come 1-6, let us go. AN. Hey guys, I tried to do something new and wrote this. I don't even have a proper name in mind. If you like it and want these types of chapters occasionally, say it in the comments and of course, name the chapter. The next day of the ball. Early in the morning, it is the time for Shadow Mice to report. Sam is in his study listening to the report of the Shadow Mice. After the report was done, he went into a deep thought. You guys, first target 10 low-level novices. Each of you mark 1. And it is better if they are a bit far away from each other. Tonight, I will be proceeding a next step. But before that, I need you guys to practice your shadow transverse. You enter the 2nd floor in the tower and practice for 10 hours. That means an hour later you will be going back to your duty. Tomorrow, I will give you guys a new gadget to practice. I need you guys to do something for me. Squeak squeak, yes, boss. After saying his piece, Sam waved his hand and all of them disappeared into the tower. Sam called Jack over to the study and said, Tonight, we are going to make a move, but we aren't going after the acolytes in the northern region. It is too dangerous, and there are a lot of high-level cultivators. We are going to move against the low-level novices. Okay. Are we moving on birds again? No. We are going to move normally. We will begin this after sunsets. Sure. I think it is better for you to speed up your cultivation, Sam said in a low voice. Even though he didn't want to say something like that, but he can't help it. They're going against an underworld organization who has several novices on later stages, and even a great mage. But it is still okay, for now because Sam made some not-so-direct means to face them, but they can't just continue this. Not everyone is a monstrous as you, okay? I am already a late-stage novice, and it is already considered quite high. You are the monster for being a novice of 15. Jack didn't take offense at all. He clearly knew that he is depending on Sam too much for this. He doesn't have Sam's resources and skills, and even his battle prowess isn't much compared to other party. Okay, then. Try to advance to novice as soon as possible. We would be dealing with novices from now on. By the way, I have to make something for today's mission. I am going to the Artisan Tower. You also prepare yourselves. After that both of them went on to do their own things. Sam arrived at the Artisan Tower after a while, and took a private weapon forge. He took out a scroll and opened it on the table. This is a new design he made to collect an important resource to help little panthers upgrade their body's potential. He was quite abrasive against this resource as it went against his conscience, but after thinking about what Black Pond has done to people, and particularly to both the panthers, he made up his mind. He took out the purple gold and the last bit of remaining golden blood tiger bones. He wants to make an alloy for the thing he is going to make. The golden blood tiger bones are very hard, and their ductility is very less. Purple gold is too soft and isn't suitable to take much force, so he decided to make an alloy out of it. But to have a better alloy, one needs to make a lot of experiments, but he only made a rough estimate, and directly doing it because this tool, he is only going to use it for one time. Since he knew that he can find some meteorite sands through the Blackwater organization, he decided that all his tools and machines should be made by the meteorite sands or other similar level materials only. They can nurture a spirit along with the passage of time, and he will have some great tools which can even work without his direct involvement. Until then, he just needs to find some alternatives to make do with it. Even though this may feel ambitious, but he wasn't least bit depressed about it. He is ambitious, and that is the only thing that made stand on the peak of the previous world, and this time, he will ascend the peak with the same attitude. Just because he is in a different world, just because he is in a world filled with people with far more power, just because he is surrounded by so many powerful cultivators than him, he doesn't want to change his character or his attitude. If he changes his character just because he is in a different world in different situations, he won't be Sam anymore. He went to the cauldron and started his alloy making by pouring all the golden bloodbone powder and the purple gold in powder form. He released his golden fire and started melting it. After the alloy was formed, Sam started his process of casting and forging. After a few hours of work, he was finally done with the tool, and he walked back to the mansion. He went to take some rest and woke up before the sunset. Jack and Sam changed into some black clothes and moved out of the mansion. After making sure that nobody is following them with the help of a shadow mouse, both of them went to the area of their first target. It is a small house with nothing special. A young man in his 20s is meditating inside the house while he sat cross-legged. He has some spirit stone in his hands. Sam whispered to Jack, "We aren't going to kill him, I need him alive." After that, both of them entered the house. The man in the house was immediately alerted when he sensed someone else's presence inside his house. "Who is that?" he shouted in a not-so-loud voice. But he didn't really get any reply. Jack took out his black meteorite sword, while Sam took out his makeshift claws. After both of them were marked, they exchanged a look and got ready to make their move. Sam sneaked to a corner as he restrained his aura to as low as possible. When the man came out of the room he was cultivating in and spotted Jack, he immediately took out a saber and asked, "Who are you? What are you doing in my house?" His voice was cautious as he eyed his opponent, but got no reply. Jack immediately swung his sword in a swift move, but the other party is a first-level novice. He easily blocked the saber and smiled wickedly. "The brat at Acolyte stage is trying to take me on, you must be dreaming." But just as he finished saying this, he felt a huge force struck on his back. Some sharp objects pierced just below his shoulder blades and gripped a huge piece of his flesh. Before he could react, he felt a claw against his neck just a bit away from piercing into him. He didn't even dare to move. Taking the advantage, Jack immediately knocked down the man, and both of them heaved a sigh. Jack then looked to Sam. He is thinking how they should move this man away. Sam also looked at him and said, "You better keep whatever you are going to see a secret." Jack nodded his head and Sam waved his hand. The man on the floor immediately disappeared and reappeared in the second floor of the tower. This is the best place to keep the person, as the world in the second floor is solely controlled by Sam. Jack was struck with shock. He didn't know that Sam has a storage item to keep living beings. If this thing was to go out, maybe even the Count, who is friendly and amiable to the common folk, would make a move on Sam to take away the item. He came out of stupor only after Sam gestured him to move. Both of them went on to capture their next target. The scene repeated again and again until they successfully captured the 10 targets they set today. After their mission is completed, they went to the mansion. Sam immediately went to the second floor and saw the 10 people, who regained their conscience. When they saw Sam, they immediately shouted at him, "Who the fuck are you? Do you even know who we are? You better leave us now, or you won't be able to bear the consequences. Since you captured all of us, you must know we work together. The retaliation of our organization is not something, you cannot deal with it." They went on and on until Sam almost regretted capturing them. Sam immediately made a gesture, and they immediately felt a force shutting their mouths. "You guys might not know who I am, but those two definitely know about it. Isn't it so?" he said as he pointed at 2 people who just stood there without talking at all. The rest of the group turned towards them and could see their faces with anxiousness. "Artisan Sam, are you the one responsible for previous incidents?" One of the 2 asked after mustering enough courage. "Oh, your guess is correct," Sam replied. "Just for injuring 2 panthers, do you need to go this far? Actually, if you have directly killed them, I would have just found you both and killed you off, but the thing is you cut off their limbs when they are completely conscious. How much pain do you think that they went through? They aren't even a year old." Sam's voice grew colder and colder. "So, I decided to use you guys as tonic food for them, but then I found out that an assignment I took coincides with wiping you guys off, so I am now going to use you guys to make my panthers stronger. So, you can only blame yourselves for attacking my panthers. If it was just an assignment, I could have just supplied the other party some support. You guys just brought this up on yourselves." After saying that, Sam took out a weird-looking thing. This is the tool that Sam made today. The took has a needle which as long as an elbow of average man. The needle is hollow, like a needle of a syringe. The lower end of the needle is connected to a funnel-shaped hollow shell. The bigger end of the funnel is connected to red-color cylindrical object, which has an uneven surface area. This is the trunk of the giant blood mosquito he bought over from the vicar's store. This acts like a natural suction pipe which the beast uses to suck all the blood from a living being. Then at the other end of the trunk there is another funnel-shaped shell which is larger than the first one. The trunk is connected to smaller end, and the larger end is connected with a huge glass bottle. The shell of the big funnel has a handle for him to hold. Sam looked at the confused expressions of the 10 people, and without caring much, he walked towards the first person. The other person was anxious and was fearful when he saw Sam's cold and emotionless expression. Sam immediately pierced the person near his heart. When the other person tried to dodge, he wasn't able to do this, and only stood there and helplessly took the attack. Sam closed his eyes and started injecting his spiritual energy into the trunk through the tool. The trunk immediately started expanding and contracting, extracting the blood into the glass bottle. The bottle is huge, and it can hold up to 2 liters. Soon after it was filled, Sam immediately took another bottle and replaced the already filled one. The process stopped only after he filled 2 bottles completely and half filled the third one. The person who got his blood extracted was now a bloodless corpse. His body collapsed as Sam pulled out the needle. Then he turned towards the rest of the people to pick his next target. They immediately broke out in cold sweat. They wanted to talk, but they don't even have an ability to move their lips. All they could do was plead with their eyes. They're tearing up. Some of them urinated, but Sam didn't bat an eyelid as he proceeded. The last person is the one who attacked the Panthers. He looked at Sam with immense regrets. He regretted that he accepted the job against this guy. He is too ruthless and merciless. He isn't even human now. Sam looked at more than 20 bottles of blood and sighed. He actually didn't like what he did. Even though he didn't like these guys and they are absolute SC.UM of society, he didn't want to do something as cruel as extracting blood from a fellow human. The only reason he did this is that the fire poison in Panther's body is being more active than he thought. He overestimated their bodies and fed them that as a supplement. Now he needs to upgrade and enhance their blood quality to save them. So, he decided to make this move. No matter how much capable he is still a human, and just like every other human, who will do anything when they have to save their loved ones, Sam also did this. Just that, these guys are part of destroying many more previously and are absolute SC.UM in the society is only thing that gave him some relief against his guilt. I hope that the blood will be enough. Sam said as he burned the corpses to ashes. Even the bones disappeared. Sam is laying on his bed and is looking at the night sky through the window. He is in a deep thought about how to proceed about dealing with Black Pond. Because he was thinking about what Count said after the ball. Night of the banquet. After the ball, inside a meeting room in Count Mansion, Sam and Count Falcon are the only people inside the room. This is a small meeting room which has a round table with 6 chairs around it. Sam and Count are sitting across each other. Both of them aren't speaking at all. There is a jug with fruit juice and 2 glasses on the table. After a long silence, Count Falcon finally spoke. Sam, do you know what I want to talk to you about? Maybe about the spot for the inheritance of Nerali. Sam replied with a bit of uncertainty. He is really confused why Count is being all mysterious. Actually, no. I am about to talk about something else. Oh, please tell me what do you want to talk about? I don't think we have much to discuss this privately, other than the spot and inheritance. It is about the incidents regarding the past few days. Sam became tensed after hearing this. Incidents regarding the past few days are mainly the murders he and Jack carried out in eastern and western regions. But he didn't show it on his face and just looked at the Count with same calm expression. Seeing that Sam has no reaction, Count continued. Past few days, there are a lot of murders of acolytes in eastern and western regions. Do you have anything to say about that? Count finally came to the point. Oh, what do you want to say, Count Falcon? If you were only asking my opinion on this, I would say that it is a pity that there are so many lives lost, but I think you should look into the matter to find out the motives of other party. Sam replied as he took a sip of fruit juice. That is why I am asking you. What are the motives? Sam immediately stopped his hand in the mid-air, which is holding the glass of fruit juice. He looked at the Count with a cold expression. There is no other change indicating his guilt. He slowly said, You must speak carefully, Count Falcon. As a leader of a city, you should choose your words wisely. Accusing me like that would only bring further troubles. When Count heard Sam's reply, he took a sip from his glass of fruit juice. Then Sam continued. May I ask why Count Falcon is thinking that it was me? Sam was curious. He didn't think that you left any clues behind. He doesn't have any bird-type beasts around him normally, and they don't know that he has a storage that could keep the beasts. His villa is also not close to the woods to hide the beasts, and most importantly, his moves are of surprise and sneaky. He is actually impressed the Count somehow related this to him, but he has to make sure that the other party couldn't confirm whether it was him or not. At least until he was done with the things about Black Pond here, Count shouldn't focus on him too much. Well, you are the only anomaly in the city right now, Sam. Why do you think so? Sam raised an eyebrow as he asked. You are the only who came into contact with a figure who we are puzzled about. Sam went into a deep thought after hearing what other parties said, then after a while he asked in a low voice. Vickers. Count smiled up on receiving the question and nodded while answering. Vickers is the only one who we are quite puzzled about. We don't know where he came from, he just came here a few days before you did. He came completely out of nowhere. He came to the city and opened a shop, but we never saw anyone going to the shop and buy something. But everyone knew about his shop. Whenever someone asks people in the city about information regarding to buy something, everyone will recommend the Vickers shop if they don't know about it surely. For example, if you ask someone who doesn't know where wine is available about where to buy a wine, he will subconsciously reply that everything can be bought in Vickers' store. You are his first customer. Don't you think it is too much of a coincidence, Sam? First, he came to the city, then a few days later you came here. The first thing you did after coming here is to go to his shop. Most important is the peculiar reaction of the people. And a few days after you met him, a mass murder happens in the city. Even though I can't find any link between you two, I couldn't help but suspect you at all. When Count finished saying this, Sam heaved a sigh of relief. He thought that the other party found some clues through investigation, but now he understood that the other party is suspecting him because he only came into contact with a person who is completely mysterious in Count's eyes. Maybe, you might think that way, but I went to Vickers' shop only for business. As for why I went there, you can ask a person named Elder Arlo for a personal grudge against our city lord. He made things difficult for us by not arranging a proper accommodation. Count Falcon, do you think that I will bear with it? I earn money to live comfortably. That is why I went to find a house, and your citizens are the ones who led me to Vickers' shop. If you have some doubts regarding this, you can investigate yourselves. Sam is not that nervous now. Even though he has to be cautious from now on to avoid suspicion from the Count, he has to get rid of any thoughts that he is related to Vickers. The Count was also a bit surprised by what he heard. He immediately called an attendant inside and whispered something in his ear. After some time, the attendant came back running and whispered it into Count's ear. The expression on his face then became dark and gloomy, which showed that what Sam said is true. He is angry now. His subordinate is responsible for not only the abusing his authority to resolve his personal grudge, but he also took it out on the candidates, which are completely unrelated to the grudge. What would be the opinion of candidates on him now? And even more than that, the situation led to another thing, and that is he misunderstood a person of high status, and directly suspected him, even interrogating him privately. He completely lost his face. Sam, I am sorry about what happened and the words I have said before. He immediately apologized. But he was still a bit suspicious. He has a feeling that the mass murder is still related to Sam. But suddenly an elder of the Count mansion came running inside the room. Sir Falcon. Something happened again. He immediately shouted as soon as he entered the room. Falcon frowned in displeasure at his subordinate's actions, but he restrained his anger and asked, "What is the matter?" The southern region. But there is a mass murder again. There are a lot of people on the streets laying dead. Many shops and houses were burned. When he finished the sentence, Count immediately stood up from the chair. He looked at Sam, who was sipping the fruit juice leisurely, and at the elder who reported the news. Even though his intuition is telling him that something is up with Sam, he couldn't find a reason to suspect him as there is an incident now, and he could clearly see that Sam was with him all the time. Count Falcon, I will take my leave. I think you need to take care of some matters. Sam stood up from the chair and he said with a smile. Count also nodded his head and said, I apologize for the inconvenience, Sam. I hope you won't take it to heart. Don't worry about it. Sam waved his hand and walked away. He is so happy that he made a decision to send Sky and Yanwu to deal with the acolytes in the southern region. That night he went back to the mansion and waited for the report of the shadow mice till morning. The next day, he proceeded with the plan to deal with the novices, and now, he is thinking on how to deal with the remaining, without making the Count feeling suspicious about him again. Present, Sam is feeling a little bit frustrated about how to go on about. At first, he wanted to wear their strength down, slowly, and make them gather at one spot, but now, he needs a way to end it quickly. But he also has to stay clear to not fall under the Count's radar. After all, it is not easy to get rid of suspicions once they started. After thinking for a long while, he only found one way. He needs to use shadow mice directly. His actual plan is that he would take down these novices slowly, and when the upper echelons find this out, they will gather their remaining forces together. Then he would use shadow mice to detonate the poison grenades he made to deal with them. But now that he wasn't able to make a move directly against the novices, he has to deal with them using shadow mice only. Jack isn't a novice yet after all. If not for the fact he needs the blood for panthers, he might not even deal with the first 10 novices himself, risking to be caught by the count. But suddenly he thought of an idea. If he can do this, he might be able to get rid of the big fish first, and then he didn't even have to care about these small fry subordinates. Basically, all he needs to do is to take care of all the subordinates who knew about Blackwater and Black Pond. They were all the upper echelons who holds the whole organizations together. If he took them down, the rest of the organization will dissolve completely, and they might form some small gangs dividing the territory into illegal business. The mission he took from Jack is to help him get rid of the Blackwater, not to clean the world of his darkness. He immediately woke up from his bed and went to his study. He is thinking of how to move on this plan and what time is best to strike. Night passed and the shadow mice came back to him to report. After that was done, he passed on his instructions. Monitor the 4 peak stage novices and the manager of the Black Pond closely. Follow in pairs. For the next few days, you have to remember their daily routine and find out which are the times all of them are most idle. You have 1 week to find this out. I need a time where all 5 of them can be attacked at the same time. Squeak squeak, yes, boss. After that, you guys also practice the things the shadow transfer as well as elemental fusion. Use up all the dark element spirit stones if you have to. I need all of you to learn it as soon as possible. Practice it well in the tower. You are all the most important for the next step. He paused and passed them some spatial rings which can fit perfectly to the shoulders of the limbs. Try and see if you guys can use these. Tell me if there are any problems while using. The shadow mice took the spatial rings and tried to pry. At first, they are feeling some restrictions, and soon each of them retracted some spirit stones out of it. But they seem to be exhausted. Looking at the scene, Sam nodded. He thought that since the spiritual sense is the main thing to get something out of the spatial ring, the beasts might be able to do it. What is restricting them is their intelligence level, and since shadow mice are one of the most intelligent creatures, it worked. Try and practice with them more. These will be yours from now on. After that he waved his hand and sent them inside the tower. These few days, I will work on to improve the panthers.